Well, happy Friday, folks. The Real Captain Cook here. We're live from One Bethlehem Plaza here in downtown Bethlehem on a Friday. Normally we do this on Saturday here, but again, a lot to cover here this weekend here, so we thought we'd get a head start here. Again, we've been talking about Sonny, our robot. He is a real robot for probably about a year now, but top secret here. Again, like I said, team's been working on this and excited to announce that within days now, we're just getting very, very close to launching our wt360 AI app. Again, this will do everything you can imagine. Year ahead, global weather forecasting, short range weather forecasting, severe weather alerts, you name it, it does it. Future radar, future smoke. The neat thing, though, is you can ask Sonny pretty much anything, how 220 seasonal categories will perform. So, hey, what's the demand for, beer or beverage sales in July 4th weekend next year? Or what's the best week for my wedding or honeymoon? So it's a pretty cool app. Again, we'll let you see the video here, and we'll talk to you soon. So as Forrest Gump said, that's all I have to say about that. So let's ask Sonny something here again. So we talked about that fall here. We do have kind of a wet fall, typical major El Nino. So we have a cooler, wetter fall, periods of cool, still going to be a lot of warm, but wet for sure. So we actually have it here. This is our September, October, November rainfall outlook. Again, so the wettest in 8 years after very dry fall last year in parts of the country here. So typically an Academy Sports outdoors type company, Equity, would do well in a warm, dry fall. They tend to, you can be outside, you buy more equipment, you name it, we can do it. But if it's the wettest in 8 years, things get canceled. You don't need as much equipment. So we have a negative 1.6 on the Equity Index for ASO, meaning it's not that great in terms of a stock pick. However, an Excel injury, if you've got some colder weather in the Midwest, Chicago, upper U.S., wet, it's the best in 4 years. So again, it's how we help big retailer suppliers, Wall Street firms figure out how weather actually influences something that matters to them. Rapidly developing historic El Nino, almost no doubt we're going to probably at least tie back to, I think, 1877 here. So rapidly developing historic El Nino, just simply all that very warm equatorial Pacific Ocean water temperatures. Remember back in November last year, again, we were in the heart of a La Nina. Again, so you see all that cold in the eastern Pacific. Now what we're looking at is a cross section below the Pacific Ocean by hundreds of meters here. But so going from Australia all the way to Ecuador, Hawaii's in the middle. But again, what's interesting here is, so back in November, you could already see El Nino way out there in the central Australia below the surface. Wasn't El Nino, but again, here it comes. So now if we look at here today, 6 August, again, you see now it's the polar opposite. Where that cold water was, it's just much above. I mean, this is historic in some regards. Again, plus 3.1-ish would be the strongest El Nino on record back to 1877, 149 years ago. So we got some plus 4, plus 5, plus 6s down there. We won't get quite that hot. Models are, getting us up to at least about plus 3. Interesting. Now look back out toward Australia International Date Line. What do we see? -3, -2, cold waters. So that's going to make its way all the way across the Pacific here. Takes many months, probably 6, 7, 8 months, 9 months. But we can already see La Nina, and it's very, very common to have a strong El Nino followed by at least a moderate La Nina. So this fall time next year, winter next year, La Nina, not El Nino. Kind of see that reflected here in the models here. Again, so the model showing a peak as we get toward late fall, end of this year, December timeframe, peaking right around that 3.1. That would make it matching the historic El Nino of all time. Again, back 149 years. Chart right here, just again, models, again, trends showing that it's definitely heading in that direction here. And again, just the historical. 1516 was a strong, again, a 2.5 El Nino. So that was number one in the NOAA era going back to the 1950 range. So we'll crush past that. That was only a 2.5. Almost certainty we'll get past that. Typical, though, in a strong El Nino like this, we actually warned about this many months ago, that you can get these Pacific hurricanes that can impact Hawaii. I lived there for many years, and this is classic, again, Hawaii. So we've got the Hurricane Lala. They like the funny names out there in Hawaii, but probably going to hit Big Island, Hawaii the most. It may just barely make landfall on the southern tip of the Big Island and then pass weekend and pass south of Oahu, the main island, Honolulu and Waikiki areas. But again, heavy rain will certainly be the impact here. Downside is that when you're in the Atlantic Basin, we got all this wind shear, we got dust coming off Africa, we got a lot of negative, a lot of negatives. So again, there's been several systems out there. We had some 70 to 80% chances here. Now they're dwindling very fast. It's just hitting way too much wind shear. Dust again off of Africa and this whole Atlantic basin. Models think we might get a tropical storm there. Again, the track's right, heading toward the northern Windward Islands, Virgin Islands, in about a few days here. So we'll see. Again, it'll probably remain weak. Again, we still got some fire. Good news, we're putting out some of these fires out here in the Pacific Northwest that had some rain. Still some big ones out there, but again, you can see nothing like we had before. But again, this is our Weather Trends 360 chart here. Again, we got some of these indexes that are actually going up to 900 on a pollution index. That's 255 considered extremely hazardous, like stay indoors and don't breathe outside. So 900 is just off the scale. Canadian product here on the right shows the next 3 days. Again, some smoke. We've had some smoky skies here in the east. Again, not as bad as we had back in early July. Look at last week's summary now. This is, again, mostly history in the books. Got 1 day of forecast here for tomorrow, Saturday. But again, for the week, where our clients like to look at week ending Saturday, the 15th. Again, overall, the U.S. was just a hair cooler than last year. Doesn't say much because it was still the fourth hottest in 41 years. Hot 90-degree days, however, were down 7%, still above average. And it was wetter, plus 5% wetter than a year ago, wettest in 3 years, 16th wettest in 41 years. But cool in Canada, finally. Coolest in 7 years, below average, a little bit dry. Wet spot maybe more toward, again, Russia, again, wettest in 7 years. China, wettest in 5 years. Big map is trends versus last year. Maps inset left are the trends versus average. Picked up some severe weather here. Not much in the tornadoes, plus 30%, 30 more tornadoes than last week, 260 hail events. But look at this, 1,702 wind events. That's just off the scale here. So wind is just going absolutely crazy. These are not tornadic winds. These are just straight line thunderstorm gusts that come in with big squall lines, derecho events. We had a couple of those go through the Ohio Valley here this past week. So again, off the scale here. I mean, we're pretty getting close to that historic level of 2011 is that little purple dotted line up there. But so again, the most in 15 years for wind cases. Going to add some more severe weather here again here today, this weekend, going through the Corn Belt into the Mid-Atlantic. So again, some activity here again this weekend. Look at this week, again, this week, meaning the week ahead here, 16 through 22 August here, again, the third week. 0.8 warm in last year, warmest in 23 years, third warmest in 41 years. Last year, again, was, again, warmish, but a couple years was really cold. Hot 90-degree days on a national index basis is 10% fewer. So again, even though it's warmer than last year and warmest in 23, there was just not extreme heat, unless you're in Oklahoma area. But again, those are down versus last year. Precip pretty much flat, 12th driest. Most of that rain is in the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, interior Northeast. Next week, again, this is the last full week of August, ending the 29th. Again, remember last year, it was just crazy cold, coldest in 33 years. That's great for back-to-school sales. People love it, in terms of retail, seasonal sales. Unfortunately, this year it's warmer. Again, we got some cool weather. Map shows, again, it's cool, in the Midwest, into the Ohio Valley here. But again, on a national basis, 4.4 warmer than last year, 17th warmest in 41 years. So pretty big change there. Hot 90-degree days are actually up again, virtually none last year, up 56% this year. And precip up a bit, 13%, still pretty dry. But again, got to watch that rain there in the Rockies here. Again, there's a chance that we could get some flooding there in Colorado here over the next 10 days, 2 weeks here. So get parched areas, getting maybe flooding. Aggregating these 2-week trends here now for the last half of August here, 16 through 29. So general theme is cool, maybe up there in central Canada. Warm, bullseye will be right there in the heartland, deep south, southern plains, Oklahoma, Kansas, North Texas. Europe's moderating a bit. UK certainly moderating a bit again after they've had obviously a lot of hot weather here this summer. Looking at the precip outlook here again, general theme is above average, Great Lakes Northeast, even some above average in the Rockies. That's good news. We need that. It's drought parched. They'll take it. So question is it goes from droughts to probably a flood here with this amount of rainfall. So that, folks, again, don't forget you can get this in your email, again, usually on a Saturday, but today it's going to be on a Friday. But again, video blog in your inbox. With that, folks, have a great week ahead, and we'll probably be on Saturday schedule here next week. Have a great week.